Hi folks, today I'm going to do a really easiest ever baitfish pattern. What you'll need is a clear mono thread. You can get this from pretty much most fly tying shops. You can get it online from Pike Trek as well, they sell it. I'm going to be using two kinds of gliss and glint plus. I'm going to be using a pink and a kind of aqua blue colour. A varnish, and that's it. Hook is a Sakuma Manta 4.0, just a medium-sized baitfish. Okay, so what we're going to do is start by laying down a bed of thread. What this does, it gives the material something to stick onto, because what we're going to do is lay some varnish over there. This is a great little applicator bottle. It's one of the favourites I've used. Okay, so we'll put that on there, and what will happen is when you put your material on that and it dries, it makes that rock solid. Being mono thread, it also protects against teeth as well. As you know, pike and other predators have very sharp teeth, and the last thing you want is your fly falling apart, especially when you've just caught a fish. Okay, so we're going to take a length of gliss and glint plus, quite a thin piece as well, so like that, and that's the whole length. Okay, what we do now is we're going to lay that on there, and you want to see the length of your bait fish, so I'm going for about there. You always want longer at the back than at the front here, so we'll just push that down around the hook a little bit like that, and it will cover the shank, and some loose wraps all the way, and stop just before you get to the eye, just there. Okay, and now we're going to spin that round and add some varnish to that, like so. Again, protect it against teeth and gives the material something to stick to. Okay, what we're going to do next, we're going to take another piece of pink, again very thin. You need this. This works better. It's got a beautiful flash through it. It's like an angel hair or something. I'm not sure how they do it, but it's got a beautiful flash through it. And I find if you use really almost see-through pieces of that, the flash is just beautiful in the water. Really shows up nice. You don't need big clumps of this. Okay, what we're going to do now, we'll put that on. If you noticed, I've not come back down here. Okay, because the material is going to stick to that. So I come back down, and that piece is shorter than your overall length. So we go there, this piece is just a little bit longer than your last piece. Okay, and we tie that in, and we bring both pieces all the way up to there, and then bring it back down like that. Okay, now the next thing you can do is you take your aqua blue. Again, color wise you can use whatever you like for this, doesn't matter. So we'll take a full length of this and match it up to the bottom one. Don't worry about that being shorter, that's no problem at all. Okay, we'll wrap that and give that some varnish on there. Again, protecting it and sealing it against critters. Okay, what we're going to do now, we're going to put final piece on. Sorry, second final piece. Again, take exactly the same, quite thin. I always like to use longer sections because you can always cut it back, but it's harder to stick it on. So what we're going to do now is match that up, slightly shorter and slightly longer at the front. Okay, tighten that down like so. Okay, and again add some varnish onto that. It really is a simple fly. If you're just starting out fly tying, you can use this method for pretty much any kind of synthetic material, EP fibers, ultra hairs, it all works. But I like gliss and glint because you don't have the added having to tie in or blend your own sparkly bits into it. It's already in there and it looks great in the water. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to create the baitfish taper. So pull that up each side of the hook, just tease it out like so. Okay, tie that down like so. You notice I'm working just away from that hook there, from the hook eye, sorry. Okay, now we'll just have a look at that for a profile, and I need to tease a bit more to get equal amounts on each side. Okay. Okay, and that's looking pretty good. There's a nice taper on that. So the next thing I'm going to do is quite simply just fold that over like so. Give that a few wraps, and as you can see, you're nearly done. And you've got a nice little nose there. Okay, just going to chop that just down about there. Okay, now here's a little tip. I love doing this. People go, but no. What I'm going to do is heat the end of this. It never gets so hot you can't touch it. Just now, what you're doing here, you're actually transferring a little bit of heat through the top half of that hook shank. And because these materials obviously are some kind of plastic, they stick to the hook, and that makes that absolutely rock hard. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to stick a gator eye on. I think these are 8mm, so we'll get a couple of those off, prep, and go over here and just drop everything while I'm at it. Okay, and we're going to squeeze out a little bit of gator glue, sorry, croc glue. You don't need too much, just enough to cover the eye, because when you push that eye down, what's going to happen is the glue will spread over the eye. I love these eyes, they're just so realistic. Does that make a difference? Who knows, but it looks good in the fly. Jury's out on that one, but they certainly look good. Okay, push that down. The croc glue takes a little bit longer than normal super glues to actually dry and harden, but what you'll find when it does actually harden, you've probably got one of the strongest glues out there, and there's no way in a million years that's going to fall off or get bitten off. Okay, a final touch is just to add the varnish around there. Of course, if you can put any eyes on that you want. You can stick them on anyway, as long as they got on there. That's just my preferred way of doing it. And if someone can show me a better way, I mean, you can use 5-minute epoxy, mix a little bit up, dab it on. The advantage that has by using the 5-minute epoxy is you give a little bit of weight to the fly, but it doesn't make a huge amount of difference. It depends how much epoxy you put on. So I'm just going to trim that odd hair off there. And there you have, and I'm sure you'll agree, a pretty nifty looking baitfish. And again, anyone can do that. Trust me, anyone can do it. Once you've tied it a couple of times, let your imagination go. If you want, I mean, that's done with, I think it was 4 or 5 pieces of material, was it? 4 pieces of material. If you wanted, you can tie in, once you've done your pink, you could tie in a black stripe there, if you wanted, and then just tie material on top. Easy to tie, anybody can tie that. Have a great looking baitfish. That will catch fish. Thanks for watching.